Hello, I'm a figment of your imagination, and your imagination is not very good. This is Board, Deck and Dice, and today we have a Kickstarter preview of the second game by Halfwing Games. This is a two-player abstract game called AOX. Let's take a look. AOX is so named because its pieces are a triangle, a circle and an X. AOX. One player will be the light side, one player will be the dark side. They will set up each side by placing the triangle first and the other triangle last, and they place them all along this back row. What you are trying to do in AOX is get your triangle to the other player's highlighted area at the end of the turn, or capture three pieces. The circle pieces can move orthogonally and one at a time, and can capture other pieces and be captured. The cross pieces can move diagonally one at a time and can capture and be captured. The triangle pieces can move any direction one at a time. They can be captured, but they cannot capture. Also, triangles can jump over pieces orthogonally or diagonally. So far so abstract, but what makes this game stand out a bit more is the use of 9 tokens, and this is how you work out what you're going to draw each round. You put all your tokens into your bags and you draw out 3. The 3 you draw out affect what you can move. If you draw out 3 different symbols, then you may move once and you may move one of those shapes. If you draw out 2 symbols the same, you may move both those symbols once, but you do it in alternate fashion. And if you draw out 3 symbols the same, you may move one of that symbol twice, or both ones, again complying with turn order. That in itself is interesting, but what makes it more interesting is the use of initiative in this game. Let's say I am the first player, we have both drawn out our 3, and I've drawn out the ones that only give me 1 go, where my opponent has drawn 2 triangles and a circle, so they're currently getting 2 goes. When I have initiative, I can take the first turn and pass the initiative on, as would be standard in a game like this. Then I would only get 1 go because I can only move 1 of my pieces, but my opponent can move 2 pieces. My other option is to keep the initiative, to change one of my pieces with my opponent, and then let them take the first go. And what I've done here is I've changed, and now I have 2 moves. I can move the triangle and the circle, but my opponent only has 1. So now I might go move this circle up, then my opponent, they go first, don't they, because I forgoed that. So they might go right, they're going to move that there. So then I take my 2 goes, and I'm going to move that there and that there. And now I've had 2 goes. We check to see if any of our triangles are in our opponent's areas, which they're not at this stage. And then that would be that. The other thing you can do if you get 3 of the same is you can, any of your pieces that have been captured that share that shape can be reinstated on the board as long as this highlighted area is free. Then you can take, so if my opponent had captured that, I could take that and put it on there instead of moving pieces. So you're going to have 1 or 2 turns per round, and there's going to be some minor deck bag building, because once these have been changed, they don't go back at the end of that turn. They all go back in the bag and you pick from them. So suddenly I have 4 triangles, only 2 crosses and 3 circles, so it's much more unlikely for me to get crosses out, and I cannot get 3 crosses. If my opponent bears this in mind, they might try and capture my crosses to take advantage of that fact. That, in essence, is the game of AOX. It's worth mentioning as well that AOX also comes with an expansion. This will probably be on one of the levels at the Kickstarter, with 3 more shapes: the square, the star and the spiral. The square is the easiest of these. I haven't really checked those out too much at the minute because I find this enough game for me, and the spiral and the star scare me because they move so randomly. So that is everything you are likely to get in the Kickstarter of AOX. What do I think of AOX? I think this is another great abstract game from Halfwing Games. I think it would have been one thing if it was just having the different movement and you were just back and forth. But this bag building element is fantastic. It's very light bag building element and very slow bag building, but you really do have to think about what's the best way to use initiative, to give it over to your opponent or to hamper them or give yourself a better move. And all the time you've got to remember the different directions that different pieces can move, because you don't want to make yourself an easy capture or give an easy route into that highlighted area. So I think that kind of initiative and bag building element really elevate AOX. Did I call it OX earlier? I've tested another game called OX recently, so don't blame me. But this really elevates AOX above what it would have been if it had just been kind of a chess-like thing. It's highly portable. You can take this and set it up anywhere. This is obviously a prototype, but it's nice wooden pieces. You get... I don't know what's happening with the expansion, whether that's included or whether that'll be a tier level, but again, there's more meat in there for you. Everyone I've played this with has enjoyed it because of not just the spatial where shall I move element, but the bag building element that I keep going on about. So if you like your abstract games, if you like your two-player games, this is well worth checking out when it comes on Kickstarter. Halfwing Games have already done a fantastic Kickstarter with Package, which was a brilliant abstract game, and they're continuing that trend here. Thanks very much for watching Board, Deck and Dice. We will see you next time.